Nigerians for election that Tinubu is going to organize. As much as many of us believe that it is a pure waste of time, validation of a fraud that will still take place, especially because the institutions that are supposed to possibly guide the process of electing or choosing your own leaders have become so compromised. And to us, we kind of feel like it is a waste of time. However, a lot of us believe that something needs to be done, right? For so many reasons why a lot of us probably would not want to be part of the entire process or the charade. But we can all agree that something has to be done. And if something has to be done, it is either we do it or maybe some people do it. And in this instance, where many groups have been created because of the failed kind of a governance that APC has been offering Nigeria and Nigerians. The most divisive, violent, kind of a set of people who glorifies criminality was them enough that, those who stand against any form of discrimination, marginalization, criminality, and all of that, every one of them is a tagged enemy of the country. Why the real enemies who continue to pardon terrorists, right? Keeps giving themselves, pass marks and awards of excellence. So some people need to do it. So on the second thought, some of us believes that election can save that contraption, that it is so messed up that a rotten system can't, in fact, produce anything good. And we have been proven right many times. However, some of us also believe that, you see, if there's going to be any form of revolution or any form of, shutdown that is going to have a mass acceptance, there should be something that will lead to that. And that is why when the likes of the obedience publicly and privately express this to whoever cares to listen, that if they are to participate in any elections in Nigeria again, it must be the one that Peter Obi is the presidential candidate, and it will be the one that, you see, they will not be sort of like tamed whenever they feel like the entire process is rigged or cheated. Now, the argument of some people is that with the current scenario that we are seeing in that place right now, those who are responsible for what is going on in that contraption today, those who are responsible for all of this, especially those who engineered, financed, and then enabled APC in the last 10 years, and suddenly changed that they want to, as recent as the last 2 years, by the way, so suddenly changed that they want to rescue the rest of us from the monster they have created. I am of a philosophy that those who created a problem must never be part of the solution, but it is Nigeria. That makes it more interesting, right? People who created the problems pretending to want to resolve the problem, but they lack integrity or credibility. So they need a guy who seems to have all of that. As they can pull every weight within the system, as corrupt as it is, to their side, but they will need a face, and that face is now looking like it's going to be that Peter Obi. And to the obedient, since I have been observing and then, documenting the activities of the obedient myself, right? They don't seem to have any problem with, whichever character. Some of them are divided when you talk about the likes of El Rufaya associating with Obi, right? But to some extent, right, they just don't really care that much. Because according to them, if Obi is in the mantle, if Obi has the mantle of presidency, that contraption, he can obviously tame all this crook. That is their own theory, a theory that many others right, who also publicly rejects Obi and all that. I'm talking about the revolution now, not talking about the Runukusa gang. To them, no, Obi won't punish those who did this to Nigeria. Rather, once the power is in his hand, it will probably just shield them with what he kept saying, as long as they don't do it again. Now, you see all this division, right? Kind of make it on one hand, make it like an advantage to Tifnumbu in the last few days, or maybe last few weeks. Yeah, but things seems to be changing the direction a bit. So for the first time, those who have been either speaking overtly or covertly on the coalition. Now, before I even go to that, right? There are those also of the school of thought that believes that Potiknumbu's political influence and power, right, to be matched in any election, right? All the opposition parties in Nigeria needs to come together. So the idea came by, I think, after the 2023 charade, when it was obvious that the entire process was rigged, but the oppositions were divided. So there was no means of challenging it properly or pushing APC, Egbekegbe, to the brim of them understanding that even if they got away with that, they won't get away with another one. So to cover up for that mistake, so last time I was here, I shared with us their supposed research, a team of northern liberal, whatever, Democrats, something like that, who came together to say, oh yeah, they were in support of the coalition, and they sent out experts to go and observe all political parties. And when they came back, they only sort of gave them 2 political parties. So their plan was that they were going to start their own political party, register a new one, or just join any existing one. So last, it is the ADC that seem to be ready to take the first sort of like a conditions, like we join your party, we use your political party for the coalition, right? But we are going to take over the party. Every bit of it. We'll replace them, we'll mix them, even with you, right? We'll replace them with our people who are going to do this election for them in 2027. So ADC, according to them, accepted. However, because El Rufaya, the Kaduna Little Finger, is said to have this strong influence, as displayed many times, right? Strong influence in the SDP, but there is a problem. You see, the presidential candidate in the last charade 2023 election, right? The guy said they are trying to kick him out and replace him with whoever El Rufaya was bringing, and that was not going to happen. So meaning they would have their own Elamidiot Apampas or Arabambi Diot on their hands, or Judas Sapure on their hands in the long run. So anyway, you hear about a coalition, this coalition that Obi said is only going to be in any coalition that is just, it won't be in any coalition, but the one that is about caring for Nigerians, not just about grabbing power. So for the first time, the people called the National Coalition came together. And this time, they are from the northern extraction. So like I said, those who were part of the ruined and destroyed Nigeria by the APC, Egbekegbe, they were present. The likes of Abubakar Malamu, your attorney general of Nigeria, remember him, a rogue that should be in jail right now, but he's also part of the coalition. Then you have Rotifmi Amechi Ubima Judas Iscariot, right? He was there. And don't forget, it was Rotifmi Amechi that came second. And the APC, Egbekegbe presidential primaries that Kolu duplicated and shortchanged the entire system before they could realize it was too late. It was Amechi, and after him was Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu. You remember? So now Amechi and others feels like they need to rescue us. So they are representing, a faction of APC, right? That is also sort of like linked to Bokwari, so to say. So are there to play a very strong role. Okay. Atiku was there. Atiku, right, politically is actually done for. Unfortunately, like Bokwari, Atiku has a dream of becoming the president and just for becoming president's sake. Now, in fairness to him, there is no amount of money stolen by Atiku that a lot of us heard of, right? That can be compared to what was looted under Bokwari or what is currently being looted under Kolu. But yeah, is a veteran kind of in it. And therefore, if you take a look at his political fortune, it is dwindled so much that in 2023, which was the last time, right? That should have been his last outing for real, right? However, it is being feared that currently, right, if Atiku can pay, there are those who will still play, right? But somehow it is now being touted that it seems Atiku is reconsidering. This is unconfirmed. But again, do not pretend that you have not heard it if you are now hearing it, okay? So it is being touted that, in the old scheme, machination, and the rest, the only way to guarantee a total, sort of cooperation between the South and the North, kind of, right, is to allow Obi and the rest of the coalition, allow the rest of the coalition to ride on this obedient wave. The one that some people are telling themselves will never repeat itself. What happened in 2023 will never repeat itself. And, right, truly so, right, the obedient themselves are like, it won't happen again. If you shortchange us this time around, there will be consequences. That is why I'm actually like investing in all of this, brethren. Something needs to happen. What people are facing in Nigeria under APC, right now, even before now, right? And right now, they are enough to trigger a nationwide shutdown. But it is not going to happen because we all know why. There's something that can happen because as it is presently confirmed, the frustration of the people, most of it's where people are kind of like, masking it. Something is going to be needed that will trigger, what you call a revolution that even the political class themselves, I'm talking about even those who seems to be who pretend to be on the side of the people, they would have to run. But something has to happen. So with what we saw yesterday, it seems that Tifnumbu has a reason to panic. And listen, the panic that Tifnumbu will kind of panic, let me explain that to you very well. Okay? Without the divided opposition like you witnessed the last time, right? There is a chance that Tifnumbu won't be your president right now. There's a chance. And if he will be your president, right, there is a chance that what you will have will be, for the first time, a shared power. Because the way the whole kind of rigging announcement, the legal steps, and the rest of that, the whole way the entire process played out, right? It was more or less like it was Tifnumbu versus Tifnumbu. And the reason, according to some people, was that, as much as the obedient themselves, Obi and his supporters got so shortchanged in the middle belt part of Nigeria and some part of northern Nigeria, that would possibly have triggered a lot of, if they had a coalition in place. Even though a typical Ronuku would just be like, Atiku and Obi no be one ticket for 2019. Again, the circumstances are different. Let's be honest. Anyway, I kind of believe that the reason why Tifnumbu and his own men have been doing the underground work of trying to, get as many, opposition governors, lawmakers, and all of them, as many as possible, cross over to their party, so that at the end of the day, it would appear, right, that who else is going to challenge them. But it seems there's actually fire on the mountain. And like I was saying, right, the fear that Tifnumbu and his gang will have is not because of not being able to rig or declare himself winner. No, that's not the fear. The real fear is going to be what happened after. Do you understand what will happen after that? Something that a lot of people will say, nothing will happen. And that is actually the link we need. That confidence of what do they want to do? Benny forgets, he go declare himself, because I personally believe that Tifnumbu is not going to participate in a charade diet, he's going to lose. You can take that to the bank. Even when it is so obvious. Because Tifnumbu will bank on the interest groups who are principally, right, the member of the Nigerian enterprise. And we are talking about, their emirs, their shaitans, their, what do you call it, their clerics, and then some other remnant elites in the north. Once they are taken care of, right? So Tifnumbu, a deal maker, everybody can probably go and be shouting on radio and TV that they have been rigged. But in all of this, that is the link we need. A link where a blind spot, where people who are currently in your government believes that they have it all, like, who is going to challenge us? And then boom, the challenge will come unprepared for them. You know what I mean? So that's why we are interested. So yesterday, right, in the same hall, Atifku, Obi, and so many of them, I can mention them all. So that was them in that all. But let me now explain the context of the all, for you, okay? So according to the report, that was, those were the delegates from all the 19 Sharia and Middle Belt states of northern Nigeria. You get that now? So they send delegates from everywhere to come in and, register their readiness to be part of a coalition. All right. And in that space, a lot of them gave, their own speech and all of that to talk about how Nigeria is this, and then why they had to come together to save Nigeria and the rest of that.